Hey guys, this is Matt for Creative. Today we're talking about the COVID vaccine that I received now 1 month ago. I got the Johnson & Johnson single dose one from the Javits Center, and my experience has been ups and downs, and I'll let you know how I am right now, but let's go quickly over how I felt through the first few days. I felt the day, like maybe about 3 hours after the fact, really tired, and that for that next day I felt like I was in a dream state. I felt very weak, my muscles felt very heavy. The place where I got the vaccine here, it didn't hurt, it just felt very warm. I felt like I was just completely in a dream state. On day 2, I had more traditional sick symptoms. I just felt nauseous. I didn't have a fever, but I felt really warm and I was having chills, and I just wasn't happy. I remember having Taco Bell that day, and it was one of the things that's kind of like I just needed some comfort food, and I just stayed in bed, and yeah. And then days 3 and 4, where it seemed like the night of the second day it peaked, and then 3 and 4 were kind of just going back to normal, and then the 5th day I was pretty much back to normal. But for me, 4 days of just kind of I should be staying in bed. And we are going to be going over many of the comments that I've been getting on the first few videos that I've recorded about this. So there's going to be a lot to cover here, but first we're going to go through my experience. It just, is it something that I would do again? Of course. A single dose for me seems extremely convenient. That is the only thing that was available to me, so that's really my only option. I know some other people, they only have the choice of Moderna or Pfizer, where those are 2 shots and about 20-something days apart in between each. For me, I enjoyed having the one, even though maybe, now I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, it seems like it was more potent because it's all kind of encompassed in one shot. I like the idea of the Johnson & Johnson, just that it doesn't have to be kept extremely secure and extremely cold in the same ways that I believe Pfizer and Moderna do. This one's just very easy and very convenient. Now I know that it doesn't have the same, total reliability as Moderna and Pfizer, but again, as a convenience sake, yeah, it's something that I could see myself doing again if I had an option between all 3. So I think roundabout after the first week, I was going through how I didn't feel so well. I felt fine at the end of the first week, and the second week was pretty much the same thing. And now let me just go over a few of the things I've been doing within the time of maybe about 2 weeks to here. One thing I'm definitely doing is I'm still wearing a mask everywhere. I was wearing these very heavy-duty KN95 masks and N95 masks just because I wanted to keep myself safe, because those are the ones that you use to keep yourself safe. Because I live in New York City, unfortunately if you take the subway, a lot of people aren't wearing the masks, especially in the street. They're not doing that as well, even though that's an open area. But being stuck in a tube with people who don't wear masks for whatever reason is not something that I want to do. So I was wearing a very heavy-duty mask until maybe about 3 weeks after the dosage, because I believe it's 2 weeks after your immunity is kind of set, and that's when the vaccine takes effect, and then you can be prevented from getting, or at least having the bad symptoms and hospitalizations of COVID. Because as far as I can tell, you can still possibly carry it, you can still get it, it's just that these vaccines prevent you from going to the hospital, so the extreme cases kind of are limited. Again, this is from what I've done my research on beforehand, and I'm trying my best to, give it to you guys. But remember, I'm looking at things on Google as you do, so just take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, after maybe about 3 weeks, then I started wearing just the regular medical face masks just because they're lighter. It is getting warmer outside wearing those very, very thick masks. For me, I know a lot of people say, okay, you can breathe perfectly fine with a mask. If you're doing any kind of running, moving, exercising, biking with a heavier mask on, for me, it does feel like it restricts airflow, so it's not something that I choose to do with a heavy mask. But with the light masks, I can do pretty much anything. And again, those light medical masks, as far as I can tell, those are the ones that prevent you from spreading to others, but because it has so many gaps, it's not going to do vice versa and prevent you from getting a lot of things. Just so remember that, and that's why I chose to do it after I believe my immunity system is ready for the ready to combat the virus, and it seems to be that I'm in a good place now. So what have I done? Have I gone back to living a traditional life? Kind of, semi-what. There's never going to be a real normalcy around here, but I did do a few key things. I ate at a restaurant inside. There are a lot of people. You know, the capacity of restaurants in New York City has increased, and there are a lot of people. They still have separators. They still have a 50% capacity or 35% capacity with just, again, the separators. They're doing the best job, at least the restaurant that I went to, so I was happy. Another night was I just had a snack and I was drinking. And as far as I could tell, my reaction to having about 3 to 4 drinks, which is a significant amount of drinks the next morning, was kind of a little bit hungover and a little bit dehydrated, but no more or less than what it's been like before the vaccine. So just with that kind of experience, think about, you know, I'm doing the things that normal people do. I'm eating, I'm drinking in public places, and for me, at least for me, I don't seem to see any kind of like overall negative, you know, negativity from having this vaccine. I have the same kind of energy. It's warmer now, so I'm going out biking more, I'm going out running more, and I'm exerting myself. So at the end of the day, and it is like this throughout every year for me, at this time of year where I become more active, because in the winter time I'm very like, I'm staying inside, it's cold, I'm not going to do too much exercising. At this time of year, when I start exercising, is at the end of the day I come home very tired, and it seems to be the same thing here. I am 31 years old, so I still have a lot of energy, but for me, it's just like this time of year, it's when I get back in the swing of things, working out, and yeah, I come back home tired. But again, I don't feel it's any more, okay, I'm looking at my age, and I'm looking at having the vaccine. I don't think it's like any, or more, I can't imagine it's any different from what it was, from how I was before. Again, consider age a factor because I'm 31. I've gone to the movie theater, where of course they do require you to wear a mask unless you are eating, and I did get popcorn and a drink, and I watched a few movies, including Tenet, the new King Kong Godzilla movie, and Minari. All really fun movies. King Kong, great to see in the theaters, but it's really good being in a theater. But the way they space things out, you know, it's like you sit here and they have these seats blocked off around you, so you're always going to be separated from people. Not too many people in the theaters that I was watching these movies, but again, I didn't really feel a negative reaction. I really am wearing just my regular medical face masks, and I feel okay. So yeah, I'm kind of going back to a normalcy that I guess in some ways is like before this all happened, and I'm trying my best to work within the constraints of me having the vaccine and not everybody else having it, because I understand being allowed to get the vaccine is very key, because there's so many people who can't yet. In New York City, though, I believe by the end of April, they're going to be allowing every New York resident to get the vaccine, which would be great, because I do want to see most people with the opportunity to get this vaccine if you choose to do so, because I think the CDC said I can begin traveling again. I would like to see my parents. My parents did get the Moderna vaccine. They got their second dose maybe about a week or two ago, and it will be good to visit them because now their immunity system is set. Mine should be set, and we can go, and I can go back to my growing up home and hopefully not bring anything back to them. Of course, you know, we'll try and stay separate. I just do want to see my parents in person, because, you know, I've been doing phone calls and video chats like many of us have done, and yeah, it does take a toll not seeing my parents for a year. For me, that does. So yeah, these are the things that I've been doing. I feel like I am kind of in a normal place where I would be in the spring of any year. I'm looking forward to going outside more. I've been biking more. I've been exerting myself physically as I do this time of year every year, and I'm seemingly to be in the same place. If you guys have any questions or comments, I'll be referring to them in future videos like this. But today, this is what we're going to be doing here. We're going to be going over some of the questions. Well, I have a lot of questions here to go over, a lot of comments, a lot of positive and negatives, because there are still a lot of people who do not agree with getting the vaccine, and for the most part, I do like speaking with people who come from a place where they do want to be spoken to. The comments where it's just negativity and they're throwing things around without sources or acting like they do know better, there's no real way to engage with those people, and they know what they're doing. They're trolling and they're trying just to nitpick and kind of just have their little voice heard. And again, for me, the things that I say are about my own experience, about the little things that I find, but I know that I am not going to be 100% accurate every time. There could be things that I'm missing that I don't feel about myself. Maybe something has changed because of the vaccine, but more or less I can't really see anything. But I'll ask my friends, I'll ask my parents if they notice anything different about me, just because I think it's extremely relevant, because I've done as much research as I could, but I know there's always more to be done with anything. All right, so let's take a look at some of the questions that we have here. Questions or comments. So Alan says, I was sick for the day after. Flu-like symptoms, but felt great the next day. Sorry, I can't talk. That's good. So that's one of the things that I've seen from many people, is that they feel the symptoms from it for about a day, and then they kind of go back to normal if they have symptoms at all. And it seems like it is younger people that do have symptoms. I've seen many people in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s say, I just bounced back immediately, and that's really great to hear. Rock fan says, I felt like I'd hit by a truck 8 hours after getting the vaccine. So for me, I didn't feel like I got hit by a truck. It's just that let's see. I got the vaccine at 5:30. I was supposed to work at 10 a.m. I got up after taking like maybe a nap for like 3 hours or 2.5 hours. And when I tried to get up, it's like sometimes you feel very tired and you're just like, oh, I don't want to get up. The weight of my muscles just felt so heavy that I was like, it did feel like it took more energy to kind of move around and get up. It was a very odd thing. I didn't feel pain. Again, the injection site here was just warm, and I just felt like in a very dream state. It's something that's like, I was like thinking, should I pinch myself? Because I feel like I'm dreaming, even though the dreams that I have are different. So it was kind of like a dream state, but I knew that I was not dreaming. Let's see. So Alex got J&J 2 days ago, very sleepy and ringing in my ears. Is anybody the same? I haven't had any ringing in my ears, and of course, if you have that, put that in the comment section below and let us know how long that's lasting for. Is that something that went away? How long did it take to go away? Anything like that, because that's good information. JJ says, I get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, or I got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine yesterday at 5:20 p.m. It get me something to eat, and I went home and went to bed. I woke up around 2 a.m., sweating, chills, body ache, flu-like symptoms, only last for a day. I'm good now. So again, that sounded like me, except I had 3 extra days on top of that. But it's like, it doesn't hit you immediately, of course, just because it's going to take effect. But it's like, after kind of taking like a cat nap for 3 hours, I woke up and I was like, I'm not feeling right, and then just kind of went into it more. Let's see here. Trollers Nation says, I understand that all that drama and my muscles felt heavy is necessary for views. Go ahead and take my upvote. By the way, no one I know feels the way you did, nor did I. Congrats to me, maybe. I'm not sure. Are you trying to make a joke, or are you trying to say that the symptoms that I felt weren't accurate? I'm not really sure, because again, this is my experience, and of course literally everything that I produce on this channel is to get views. So some things will be hits, some things will be misses, and I try to be as accurate as possible. So you're getting the content that I'm putting out. Whether it does well or not is just, it's up to you, the viewer. Let's see. Tina says, just got the J&J at 4:15 yesterday. That was a day ago when she posted this, and have a little bit of sore arm and stuffy nose, and I'm not sure if it's allergies from the trees budding out. So far, so good. So it definitely could be, because my parents are going through allergies back at home. Here in New York City, we don't seem to have all the blossoms out yet, and sometimes I do suffer from allergies too. It does stuff me up a little bit. So definitely at this time of year, it could be allergies, but then again, it's more likely something due to the vaccine, just because you just took the vaccine. So just keep an eye on it. All right. Oh, Chris Johnson, I remember this one. Why would you eat the fast food when you're feeling you're going to barf? Just eat clean meals and drink lots of water. And it sometimes, whether you're very tired, very hungry, very hungover, sometimes it's these greasy foods that just kind of, they work. It's the thing that works. I have a few friends who are pregnant, and they've said, like, McDonald's is their thing that will just stay down and just have them feel better. I know traditionally, if I have Taco Bell on a normal day, I'll be like, hey, this is pretty good, but I will expect a kind of negative feeling later on. Having Taco Bell on that first day when I wasn't feeling well, it just kind of put me at ease. It's just something, I know it's not nutrients, it's not everything that I need, but sometimes the soul needs food, and in this case, it just made me feel better. Of course, outside of that, I was drinking Pedialyte, having water, and eating bananas and the fruits that I have packed away. By the way, do make sure that you have some meals ready, and just make sure that you have like a day off just in case something happens on your first or second dose of the vaccine. That's just my recommendation. It can't hurt to be prepared. You can always eat the food later, or just have things stocked up. Let's see here. I had COVID back in October, and now April 3rd. Well, she had COVID twice, but I am 44 with diabetes, scared of these vaccines and scared of getting COVID again too. Of course, the information that's put out is what we do have to rely on. We can either choose to or not to believe it. For me, I do choose to believe it because it seems like it's coming from a place that is accurate, and all of everything that I've seen seems to kind of work together. So it doesn't worry me about taking the vaccine as much as others, but not everybody can literally find the same pieces of information that I do. Sometimes you see things on the news that are positive or negative, and that will reinforce you one way or the other, because we're human, and that just is how things work. There is, let's see, I mean, I do understand. You have diabetes here. You're scared of the vaccine, scared of getting COVID. You're kind of between a rock and the hard place. If it's my recommendation, I'd say get the vaccine, but you have to be very careful, because there are some kind of specific symptoms that people are seeing from Pfizer and Moderna versus Johnson & Johnson, and also because I believe Pfizer and Moderna are RNA vaccines, where Johnson & Johnson is more a traditional vaccine. Still have to look into more why that is. I remember reading up on it, but I'm not good at memorizing all of that stuff a month later. So do your best. I'm not saying read things to comfort yourself, but just read things as much as you can. If you choose not to get the vaccine, mask up. Keep that sanitizer around with you. Just make sure that you are safe, because having diabetes, as I know family members have had diabetes, it's not a good thing. Just have to keep safe. Global Family says, awful arm, neck, shoulder, blade pain with tightness. Still stiff neck today, 2 days later. So I didn't have any stiff muscles. It's just that for me, I was just kind of uncomfortable, and just very sluggish. All right. Yoshi and the cats finally was able to make an appointment for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine at a CVS in Queens. So much reloading trying to get this one done. Oh, I guess the website that you were trying to get this one done. Pfizer and Moderna are more common, but I want one and done. So again, you're not the only person. You agree with me. The kind of one and done convenience is good. I do remember that my parents getting their vaccine, they got one of their vaccines at one location, and I figured, okay, it'd be really simple to kind of get the other vaccine at the same location within that 20-something days, but they went to a different location, and they were actually having trouble at the beginning about getting that second dose, and I was like, come on, you have one, you have to make sure, I would believe, to make sure that place has the second dose at the appropriate time. It does not make sense for you not to have it. I'd say that's irresponsible. But maybe that's not realistic. All right. Alice says, I got the vaccine 11 hours ago, and all I really feel is tired. My temperature is 99.4. Thanks for uploading these videos. I was really curious about how it affected other people. So it seems like you had the same effect. Seems like you're going to be on day 2 right now. And yeah, and this one was the 2 weeks after the Johnson & Johnson. I think what the most popular video that I made was the 24 hours, is because people were really worried about having what the immediate effects are. I know that I've been talking for a long time, but please make sure you take that next day off of whatever you're doing. I know that people have to work for a living, but I think in New York, I think you get 3 hours of paid time off. Even without that, expect that there is a chance that you could just feel sick. What maybe you could do is tell your employer, hey, I'm getting my vaccine on this day. Let's try to plan around just to see there's a possibility of me not coming in or leaving early the following day. It's good to plan with your employer. Just let them know what you're doing. I'm sure most employers at this point would like their employees to have the vaccine, and I think that just works out. But make sure you try to take as much time as you possibly can off. Make sure you have water, Pedialyte, just foods around you that are nourishing, nutritious, and just make sure you're kind of stocked up for the next day or so you can just kind of sit in your bed, read a book, watch TV, and just kind of be sick for a little bit, having the possibility of that. Because again, that's what happened to me. Seems like that's what happens to some people too. All right. Miss Kitty Cat says, I am in my mid-30s and had the Johnson & Johnson 2 weeks ago. My symptoms were sore on the shot and burning sensation for a few hours. Burning as in warm sensation, or I guess that have to be around the vaccination site. The next day, my arm was so sore I couldn't lift it. I also had mild muscle aches, headache, and felt really tired. The soreness subdued and the following day, but my arm was sore for a good 5 days, no other symptoms, and I did not take any type of painkillers. So for me, the only thing that I took was Tylenol. I hear a lot of people saying that you should not take ibuprofen, but for me, Tylenol is just what I had. I believe that acetaminophen, but again, what I've heard, nothing corroborated, is I've seen some people comment here that there's the possibility of them getting a little bit negative reaction from taking ibuprofen too quickly. And definitely don't take it beforehand too. Wait till after, just so you can have the vaccine can have its full effect on your body. So again, we have a lot more questions here to go through, but we're gonna have to cover this in another video. Alright guys, if you have any comments and questions, put that in the comments section below. I try to respond to everything that I can here on YouTube. If you're on Instagram, message me. That's M8B9. You can email me at matt8b9@gmail.com. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Again, we've been talking about getting the COVID vaccine, the Johnson & Johnson. It's been a month for me, and I'm pretty much back to normal. I feel fine, so I hope you guys are doing well. Good luck. Any questions, we're all here to help. Thanks, guys, and I will see you next time. Oh yeah, also, look at my sticker that I got. I keep that in the back of my phone. Alright, bye guys.